Just wait. As God is my witness, I swore turkeys could fly.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Let's get some more. Have it in. Get some more. Just get some more.
Well, hello, and welcome to My Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. Tonight, we have Mike and Morgan with us. We're going to be talking about Thanksgiving and drinking some wild turkey, obviously, is where we were going with the turkey drop. I was going to go with the turkeys are hitting the ground like bags of wet cement.
Oh, the humanity.
I'm not going to go in there. So, everyone in the chat, thank you for being with us tonight. It is awesome to have you with us. Mike, do you want to tell them about the Bar Cart Co-op? And then we will start into with some drinking?
Yes, I do. Let me
There's
do some I got to do some scrolling here because my
scrolled
windows are all a Twitter.
Oh, yours were too. Okay, that's you didn't see that lovely logo. I didn't even try because it didn't want to spin. So if you're having the same problem,
all right,
not an us thing.
All right. So we are proud members of the Bar Cart Co-op, which is a collection of friends who create content for the whiskey and other distilled spirits public. The Bar Cart Co-op YouTube and Facebook pages have information about upcoming and past special shows, which happen about every quarter. From blind tastings to distiller panels to discussions of special collaborations and the usage of unique grains. The Bar Cart Co-op has educational and fun episodes for your enjoyment. And the oldest in the group is Distillers Talk, hosted by Christy Atkinson and Alan Bishop. It is a conversation with people from distilleries and distillery adjacent that gets into deep and sometimes off the rails and back again discussions with their interviews. New episodes arrive at the end of the work week. And if that is not nerdy enough for you, please check out the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute. It is the show where Alan Bishop answers any questions about distilling and often puts them to the test. It could be individual grains, mash bills, equipment, and methodology. New episodes come out randomly, so subscribe. And then there is Bourbon Turd Table, where they mix the love of music with the love of whiskey. They have conversations with musicians, writers, distillery folks, and common folks about music and whiskey. It releases every Wednesday on all your platforms, including the YouTube. And of late, there have been a few international guests, which has been pretty darn cool. Then there is If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything, which is a show about spirits and paranormal among us, as well as the unexplained and the spiritual. Subscribe on Spotify to get all 4 previous seasons and the 5th one, which is on the way. And last but certainly not least, we have the Whiskey Ring podcast, where David Levine talks with people who he finds interesting, and maybe he doesn't. From the unknown to the known, David gets into the weeds with his guests, and he does all the things that we don't.
It is excellent. So, what are you two going to start drinking? What wild turkeys have you picked for tonight?
Mike, you want to go first?
No, please, ladies first.
All right. Do you want to do as we go, or do we want to present all at once?
We can do it as we go.
Okay. All right. Well,
Pull it out a bit.
I picked one that I actually have never had before. So this is Long Branch. Oh, wrong way.
All right.
Yeah, right. This is a Matthew McConaughey and Eddie Russell combination. Pretty surprised at this. This is it's pretty darn tasty. I'm not quite sure what I was expecting, but not this. So yeah, it's I guess it says, mesquite charcoal on the label, so I was expecting like maybe a mesquite barbecue chip kind of flavor, but not that. It's actually real sweet, smooth, lots of really good flavors going on in this.
I was very surprised at that one. I felt the same way as you did. I was kind of going into it. I didn't think Wild Turkey would put out anything bad, and I didn't think Matthew McConaughey would necessarily. But I tried it and I was like, yeah. But it didn't have the level of mesquite that I thought either. That I thought it was just a hint of it, but
Just barely in there. Yeah.
certainly for the price point and for the difference in the flavors, I thought it was fairly enjoyable.
I thought for him he spent like a year taking it places and he wanted to find something that was good wherever he went for it, like in any situation whiskey. And I'm like, well, that's a weird but neat kind of experiment for a year. Because I don't know if he ever got into it, but were there places he went where I was like, no, this just didn't match tonight. Like, no, this isn't it. It needs more of this, or you twist it a bit. But like you said, it was sweet and it had some other things. I was cool with it for when I got. I think it was like $35 when I got a bottle or tried it, and for what that was, I was happy enough with it. So
yeah, it's pretty good. This might be a regular.
Okay, how would you rate this in the Wild Turkey line for you?
I'd say it's probably mid. Honestly, this is a pretty mild one compared to some of the other stuff they put out. I mean, I'm used to drinking some of the hotter stuff, a lot of like this, rare breeds, single barrels, those kind of things, which I've got some single barrel hotter stuff for one of the picks and then another hotter pick for one of the other ones. But it's pretty tame, I guess, is a way of putting it. So, but it's good. I'd say it's pretty middle of the pack. I've had better and I've had worse.
Okay.
That is fine. I thought it was sweeter than what I had expected from a Wild Turkey, just in general. Most of the other ones, you got much more of the rye notes coming through in a lot of them, and I was just surprised how much a little more sugar sweet they got out of that somehow. You know what I mean? For me, it was a twist from the lineup a bit.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if it says what the mash bill is on this, but
I can tell you, they have two
Very
mash bills.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about Wild Turkey. They have two mash bills, a bourbon mash bill and a rye mash bill.
Perfect. There you go.
They may or may not blend the two together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, Renita. I remember trying to get him to go to the First Bastards Ball. I did reach out to him and his publicist, but he was going to be out of the country, is what I was told. But
He's going to be busy.
He's going to be busy. But I did make an attempt.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been funny. Or at least a little twist on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mike, what are you starting off with?
I am starting off with the Russell's Reserve Single Barrel Rye.
Oh, that's
so. I found myself, because even though I do have everything in a list, literally of what I've got and their levels and things like that, because you got to keep track of stuff. I had not edited my list because I still had down that I had rare breed rye and 101, which I normally have 101 around all the time, and I did not. But luckily, I have two completely different Russell's Reserve single barrels. But the single barrel rye it's a good starting place. The rare breed, I love rare breed. I like keeping 101 around just because 101's versatile. 101's great to cook with. I know I've said that about 1,000 times. It's really fun to cook with. But the rye, what I like about is this is a rye that you would like, Pat. It's not the rye that
I do like
that
Russell's.
You don't like. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do like Russell's. That was one of the things when that came out. And I think the whole story of that was they had a bunch of old stock and they were almost going to get rid of it, and they ended up creating a line to honor him. And I'm like, I always was very surprised and really enjoyed Russell's Reserve. That was for me. That was my re-entry point into wild turkey, and then I started to like more of their standard core lineup again. Because I'll be honest, there was a section in high school, college section of time where wild turkey just in my mind, almost reminded me of like a fireball shot. It was just hot, whatever. I don't know what was happening.
How dare you, sir?
I'm just saying. Who knows what I had at that point? But I'm just saying that's the vagary of what I remember. It was kind of, Jameson, not a fan of this. Like one of the base lineups, and they're like, no, not that great. But the Russells helped kind of reintroduce me to wild turkey, where I was like, damn. I'm like, for not a single barrel, then the single barrel. I'm like,
yeah,
you could pick any. For me, that's kind of like a Knob Creek pick. If a store, someone does a pick of Russell's, I'm like, there you go. Whatever. It's not a bad pick. You're going to be happy.
Yeah. No, it's, the thing I like about it, there's because, get some of the normal hay notes. I shouldn't say normal, but a common hay note on this rye, but there's honey with it too. So it's like honey, hay, and gingerbread are the first three things that I have down on this rye. And I haven't had this one in a while. But it's still, God, is it enjoyable? It's just, I like wild turkey stuff. I mean, it's kind of hard to beat, their formula. We have a bourbon mash bill, we have a rye mash bill, and we like number 4 char. They know their process, and they know it very well.
Well, and then you can, at least at that point, you're so good at it. That's when you can start playing with other variants if you want to.
It's about the rick house. I mean, it's the rick house and the location, and they know that I have I have respect for them, because like they know their process, man. The process is down.
I agree. So
what?
Well,
no, nothing. Go ahead. I was gonna say something, but it might sound silly. What? So we've talked about like, does age matter and stuff, and a lot of the Russell stuff is not age stated, because it is, it's an assumed age, unless it's the 10, or unless you get the 15 or stuff like that. There's an assumption there, but in a lot of stuff like 101 is 6 to 8 ish, but it also proves that you don't have to have an age statement to have that consistent flavor, and obviously they're making massive volumes of it, so they're able to blend to get that, but that's all dependent on all those pieces in their process, including that number 4. We know we're going through number 4 char. We know we're going to be putting these warehouses. Let's work back from here. There's not a whole lot of deviation in what they're doing, and that if they were to change it up and say, you know what, we're going to do number 3 char, you're going to get a totally different wild turkey, and they're not going to do that.
Well, saying with how far down that is, and I would almost think at this point, they would know at certain sections of the warehouse about how long something is going to age.
Oh, yeah.
Where they want to hit it.
Yeah.
It's like this row here, and this row here are.
Well, not only that, the diehards know it too. I mean, they know which ones to go through, which warehouse they want when they're doing Russell Reserve, the single barrels. They know all that. And I did for a small while. I knew more about the warehouse and stuff, but I've forgotten so much of it. But best resource about wild turkey stuff, Rare Bird 101. Like you want to find out anything about wild turkey, go look that up and see everything that's on there. But yeah, I used to know I know this one. So that's the Nelson one. This one, right now I don't. It's all burnt out of my head.
It could have changed vaguely too at this point too. Something else could have came to fruition.
Not in their process. Again, their process. They got it down. They ain't moving.
Are you guys doing Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving? Or are you doing it? So a lot
Morgan?
of people do it on Friday. Do it on Friday. I know it sounds dumb. Some people will actually celebrate on a different day just because of the way life works out, or family coming into town.
Mitch has to work, so
Good reason to not.
Bastard.
I know. Duncan and I get to spend Thanksgiving together, so I might don't tell Mitch because he complains about Duncan being fat. But I might go get Duncan and I Thanksgiving dinners to go somewhere. So that way I can say I didn't have to eat Thanksgiving alone. But yeah, Mitch's parents will be in town next weekend. So we'll celebrate then.
Very cool. Texas stores closed. Oh, Mike, right on Thanksgiving, I'd assume.
On Thanksgiving, I'll be doing the cooking. So just be me and my kids, and I've got a cousin who located back to the Kansas City area, so he and his dog will be over as well.
When do you start your turkey then? If you're doing the
So I'm just doing 2 turkey breasts, and I am cooking 4 leftovers.
okay,
So I'm going to roast one and I'm going to smoke one.
okay,
So I've got the turkeys. Technically, stuff will be starting on Wednesday, but I'll just be getting up early and starting the smoker for the smoked one. But then let's see what else we're doing. Pan seared Brussels sprouts, mashed potatoes, rolls, and my cousin's bringing.
Brussels sprouts are one I was not a fan of as a kid, but if you have them the right way, they're outstanding.
Yeah, 100%. And it was in the last 10 years, and we were at a big getaway with some friends, and everybody was making dinner. This one friend was making Brussels sprouts, and the wife and I are both like, nope. and she's this lady was a really good cook, and she's like, you need to have them the right way. It's like, that's what everybody says. Smells like farts. Nope, not gonna happen. And she made them the right way, and we were both like, okay. And so since then, I've had them similarly, but then I had these on a work trip. This bar it was for the appetizer thing, had pan seared Brussels sprouts, and I saw them making them, and I thought, oh, I got to try those. And they were pan seared in oil and red wine vinegar. And then they were tossed with honey and roasted almonds, and then topped with fresh shaved Parmesan.
Ooh.
They were the bomb. So I'll be making those.
I guess I'm a weird person because I've liked them anyway, every way, even boiled, despite what Emily says is gross. Ever since I was a little kid. So. But I'm also one that I'll eat sauerkraut as a side just by itself, like straight out of the jar with a fork, even cold. So,
I love sauerkraut. There was just always that extra thing about Brussels sprouts that was just like, nope.
I love them. Love them. So, Renita's Friendsgiving, always a good time. Usually, I know our Friendsgivings, lots of wild turkey involved in those, so hopefully yours are the same.
People seem to be a little more, I don't know, friendlier at Friendsgiving. You're more excited to you're a titch more relaxed, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're not there out of any kind of obligation.
When no one's there out of any type of obligation.
Right, but there's not that, typically there would be in a Friendsgiving, but typically there's just not the hope so-and-so is not going to be there with their bullshit.
Valid.
Yeah.
Valid. So.
Oh, I like kimchi too. So sorry, I was reading Emily's thing. So I do like that. But I like Korean food.
Same here.
So we won't get
Pat, what are you having?
Tonight, I am having Gatorade Fit with citrus berry is what I'm having. I'm on antibiotics, so I can't drink for a little bit, and then I will be back to normal, which was very difficult yesterday when I was pouring samples of Iron Root Republic before the Packer game to not have shots with people or not have a drink with people or not just reach down and have something I had poured for people. It's like that was a bit difficult.
Yeah.
How'd that go yesterday? Good turnout for everything?
Yeah, we went through like 4 bottles where we were there doing like 1/4 ounce pours. There were a couple people that as they went back towards the game asked for the little bit bigger shot glass, and I'm like, yeah, we can give you a travel pour. That's fine.
Yeah.
It did really good. I did move from where it was last year. Actually, it moved in the middle of this year. Owner of the house, whoever, slight falling out or whatever happened. I'm not all involved, but it moved a little bit over, about 1.5 blocks or a block to the other side of Oneida Street. If anyone's watching, those are the Green Bay Distilleries. The right side of it, all the way over, there's Team 2 Racing, and it was basically right in their side parking lot of right next to the Green Bay Distillery is where it's moved to. With that, I was going to say it had a nice turnout of people going down and coming around the corner, but my friend Matt, who you guys both know, he came with me because we started a little bit earlier. Shannon showed up about noon, and we also wanted to let her wander around the stadium with her daughter. So when they got there and were pouring, I went across the street. Didn't have a sign, but I was like a sign spinner like this, going whiskey this way, across the street. Just basically telling people if you're into it, stop under the red tent. Some Iron Republic from Texas is stopping in and handing out free samples, and there are a couple people give me whatever, and then by the time about 20 feet down they hit where the telephone pole was, they're like, all right, and they'd break left and cross the street. So at any point where it seemed like there was a wall, I just went across the street and said, hey, over there. So next time Matt and I are thinking of getting a sign that says, I assure you we have free whiskey or /rum or whatever. Or yes, I assure you we have free whiskey. And maybe what I found out afterwards too is I was afraid to take a tray of shots, let's just say, or samples across the street to the crowd. I thought maybe that might be enough to get slapped of some nature. Apparently not. Apparently that is something that's legal. So I may be or maybe looked this way at some point. So maybe that might be another branch avenue to doing other tastings there. But otherwise, it went really well. There was a lot of people that were very interested in where to buy it and where to get the things. There was the Harbinger, the Sleight of Hand 3-state blend. Then we did the Saints Alley Armagnac finish, and then the Port and Cognac finish. To be honest, the Harbinger and the Armagnac one I would say were the favorites. But there was a section where I was gone, where all of a sudden the Port and Cognac one was gone. And Matt explained it as people didn't know what Armagnac was, but they recognized the word cognac. And he kept going, they're really similar. A little more flavor, like, nope, no cognac.
That's fair.
That's fair. But yeah, so it went really well for what it was. I think it'll get a little more swing because they ended up moving mid-season right before the Detroit game to the new location. So this was one of the first times they revamped where it is, and it's nice. But I was gonna say, just being able to do that kind of down a main thoroughfare, or even pulling people in or across like that, gives a nice amount of exposure to what's going on. So yeah, I liked it.
Excuse me.
So I don't know. It's something we look forward to doing again. There was a new whiskey bar that might be opening in De Pere that was interested in having it. So whoever their purchasing guy was very excited. So I always like to see that. And I'm like, well, I think so, but I'm not going to give the okay. That's not my realm. So, but no, that's what I did. So no whiskey for a little bit, but then I'll be back on the spirits train here in a little bit. I'm not going to go all holiday season without having something. That's just not right.
Oh, I think you should go for it.
I mean, I could, but come on, a special old fashioned or a hot toddy at some point. What if I have the sniffles, Mike?
That's, I think it was, who was it? It might have been Jimmy Russell, as a matter of fact, that I heard him on an interview because he was talking about being Baptist, because, Baptists can't have alcohol unless it's medicinal. And he said, that's why I always keep a cough.
Okay, that's just ridiculous, but it's great at the same time.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to you're the priest at the church, it's like,
yeah.
It just, or is that one of those things like, well, he wrestles with his problem every day?
No, that's fun. I like that.
So, no, that's where I'm at. We are going to do Thanksgiving with my sister's house this year, but more just the immediate family in Green Bay, I was going to say, and then Christmas will be the much bigger extended families. So, just fair. Once it's a lot of people when you get to that many. I think if it happens again, we went to my great nephew's wedding.
What's so great about him?
Well, he was in the picture. He was in a 5-generation picture with my dad, obviously my sister, her daughter, him, and then his son. And that's
awesome.
Not expect, one of those things you don't quite always expect to see in a picture. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, 5 generations. That's quite a few. That's awesome.
Fortunately, I didn't get moving on that train as quickly on my side. You only get 3. But yeah, it's just something different, neat to look back on. Something you might have seen a little while ago. So I don't know how far in the future you get to see something like that again. Is what we were talking about. So So we're a very historical, or I don't know, mile marker, pinpoint family. It's, you hit things, you see things. Those are special moments. So
yeah, we did way more of that when my grandma was still around. We took the generational pictures. We did all that stuff with her, and then when once grandma was gone, it was kind of hard to keep everybody together. Plus, a lot of people moved away, like myself. But yeah,
and even when you are together, it's hard to remember to do that because, like, my sister will try to do that, or someone will, and it's like, oh yeah, but when you do it, that's like an hour. Because you're not going to. Everyone needs their side family.
Now everybody do this one.
Everyone, you guys out and you guys in.
Yeah. Grandma just stays there in the middle. Next group. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
My grandma was funny, so yeah. She would like around the holidays and stuff, if you weren't paying attention, she'd randomly like take stuff like candy or stuff like off a plate or something. Be walking by, just a hand would come out and walk. You're like, what happened to my?
I actually still have a living grandparent.
Very cool.
My mom's mom she just turned 95 in September. She still lives in the house my mom grew up in, all by herself. Still drives. She's actually a pretty good driver too, believe it or not. Just bebops around town, does her own thing. Like, never had her joint replaced. She just goes. So
keeping busy is the main thing. So
yeah, my great grandmother I think was 104 or 105 when she passed. So hoping that my grams lives that long as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool.
We'll see. But Mike, what's your second pour?
My second one, I'm doing the, it is a Russell's Reserve private barrel selection. So it is a Russell's Reserve single barrel, but it's a private barrel selection that was actually picked by our one of our favorite restaurateurs, Jason Bronner. This was a Bourbon's Bistro pick. So that I'd gotten in beginning in 2021. So I'd been nursing this baby because it's been a while. I did get it around that time. I'd gotten a few Bourbon's Bistros picks because then I was a member of ABD Network then, and they would always have stuff pop up. And Jason had different ones that came up there. Jason has proven himself to be have a pretty good palate, and this is a little different pick.
I was going to say, where's it tail off compared to a normal one? I have an idea with his palate where it
for me, because it was always like, okay, what's different? What's our? I mean, it's still got wild turkey, caramel leather, baking spices. It's got all that stuff, but the thing that's a little different about this one for me is because get the toffee note that's on there, but there's a little bit of peanut too, and it borders on being peanut brittle, and yeah.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
No, it's a very, very nice nose.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
I would have guessed that the other note I was waiting for was going to be like a light, like tobacco leaf or something in it, but not. But I like where you went with like the peanut brittle because that's.
Oh, there's still the cigar. I mean, you still get the cigar notes on there, but it's just that peanut note that comes out. It's different enough, and but it's kind of the peanut. The intensity of it is kind of like real peanut butter with all the oil. It noses thicker, it tastes thicker.
Stuff you have to churn up.
None of that skippy bullshit.
I think it was Peter Pan I was always afraid to eat because it kept getting recalled. Like every 4 or 5 years, it's like Peter Pan peanut butter got recalled. I'm like, I don't want to eat it. It's a chance I don't want to take.
The Jif peanut butter factory is in Lexington, Kentucky, or at least they have one there, and it religiously catches on fire. So there's your useless bit of info for the day.
It almost sounds like the fire suppression system isn't quite good enough.
How does it smell? How does it smell? That's what I want to know.
It actually smells quite delicious when you go down Winchester Road in Lexington and drive past there. It's a quite yummy.
Maybe that's why it always gets on fire. People light the oils on fire because they're like, I got to get that nose again.
Yeah, it's kind of like crack, right?
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine that having? What if you had a distillery or warehouses nearby that factory? That could be an interesting combination for both, especially if you had open fermenters.
Open fermenters would be neat. I don't know how much you would. It would almost be if you were, say, splitting warehouses. Peanut butter on the low level, whiskey on the upper level. I don't know. Can you store peanut butter? Does it make sense? I think you just process and go. I mean, I've used it for bait, so I know that it either melts off or it gets dry. So I don't know how long it hangs around. Smear the peanut butter all over the walls. Part where I would want to. What if you took like a barbecue pit? You take like the vent fan at the top that shoots it into a warehouse, like a barbecue smoker almost, but like a peanut smoker. Peanut smoke. I don't know if I've burned a peanut. I wonder how that. Now this is all different. Of course, you probably wouldn't want to do that because I bet you that would attract an excessive amount of critters. I don't think you can have enough warehouse cats to keep up on that.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, but you're just shooting the smell through. There's nothing there to eat.
Still, yeah, I think that would be enough.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just have a theory about smoking meat now with that. Like, with brushed up burnt peanut butter or peanuts, or do you want to use like the peanut butter? I don't know. I like where this is at. I just don't know how it will work. Yeah, peanut butter tail. I don't.
And that's how they came up with Screwball. I gotta tell you this. I haven't poured this one in a while. Boy, is it creamy. This is so good. I wish I had more, but I'm a big fan of Russell Reserve single barrels anyway. I think they're pretty solid, especially for the money.
What are you? What's your next one? You're sipping on, Morgan.
I've got a Kentucky Spirit single barrel. It's pretty darn good.
Is it the fan bottle or the newer one?
It is. We do have a fan bottle, and Mitch pretty much threatened me for dear life if I open that one. So this one's this one.
Guess I know what you're having on Thanksgiving.
Just take a video and wave to him with it in the background on the table.
Yes.
Duncan and I are enjoying ourselves.
It's like I'm having my turkey.
You should find a picture of a broken Kentucky Spirit bottle online, and they just text you and say, "I'm so sorry."
He's under kind of some stress right now,
Yeah.
so that might not be the best idea. And I don't know if I'd have the heart to do that to him. So, but maybe eventually. Just not right now. But yeah, this is pretty good. Definitely a lot spicier than the last one. This one's packing some heat, that's for sure. On the palate, even on the nose, it's packing some heat. Lots of really good, rich flavors coming out of this. You got the caramel, but you also have kind of those peppery, spicy notes too. I would actually take this over the Long Branch. It says that this one is barrel 93, stored in warehouse A on Rick number 17. And it was bottled on January 14th of 2019. So, yeah, it's kind of where we stand with this one. Yeah.
Ding.
Sorry, that's my.
No, that was like perfect timing. I thought.
That's my text coming through on my computer, so I apologize. So, but I think if there's one thing better than the nice little ding was on the spot there, it's Emily always being on the spot. With all of her awesome, links and facts and stuff, and she helps us out a lot. So I'm hoping that the whiskey community can help pull together and help Emily out. She needs some new wheels, guys. For those of you that don't know, Emily is in a power wheelchair. She relies on it 24/7. And currently right now, long story short, she's not quite mobile the way she should be. And it's really, really expensive for her to be mobile again. So I'm going to post a link in the comment section, and it just said that it failed to post it. Of course, awesome timing.
Send it in the chat, and we'll post it. You got to have.
Okay.
You have to have special privileges, which Pat has not granted you.
Okay. Well, I just put it in the chat.
You, madam, are not random.
No, Emily, you definitely are not.
No.
And Emily does a lot. Hoping you guys can help her out. Whether it's $1, whether it's $5, every single little bit helped her. She's an amazing person. She deserves nothing but the best. So, 'tis the season, right? Help lift our girl up. She's an awesome person. So share it with your friends, family, pass it along. Let's get Emily mobile, guys. So that way she can continue with all of her awesome whiskey things.
No, and I can't give her the power because we need to buy the next level up of bullshit. to get to third person access. I haven't stopped her on this one. That's just beyond me. I don't have that power.
It's all good.
Maybe on a different platform, but not this one. And I'm not going to give. Ugh, they raised their prices, so some of them are a little nuts right now for what they want. But we got on at the beginning, so we're grandfathered in. So I like that type of thing when you're on something early enough that you get grandfathered along. So, but like Morgan said, when you get a chance, hop on over there and see if you can't get some time to help Emily out over the holiday season, or share it with some other people. So
Please
do.
Please,
Now,
please.
are you guys on your next one? Sorry, I'm not drinking, so I just feel like pushing the pace. Do you guys want to do 18 tonight?
no. I can do as much as 3.
So
I'm
that's
still on 2.
that's okay. I don't
So-
mind.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying the hell out of this one.
So
I need to open this one a lot more.
Paul, good to see you. No, here I had a thought. Everyone says associates holiday movies right around the time you get to see Thanksgiving, and there's Christmas movies. Are there any Thanksgiving movies that like come to mind?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, other than that, because that's an absolutely outstanding movie. Or highly.
I don't know that I could name another Thanksgiving movie to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm like, after that, to be honest, The Grinch, because usually the next day or later that day, I'll be honest, my family ends up watching one of the Grinch versions of something to kind of start Christmas.
Oh, Renita, thank you.
Yep. Good call.
Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
That is, but Apple TV has been kind of douchey about that, if I'm not correct. They're going to play it this year, I think, either Thanksgiving or Christmas, because it's like an anniversary. But otherwise, you have to be on Apple Plus or something to watch. Which, I don't know. Some of those things that are like a historical thing or like generational, like say just the original Rudolph. Some of those things I just think are supposed to be on national television for everybody. You know,
Yeah.
It may not be that great, or maybe you come up with a newer version, but you know, there was something to that being there every year and everybody being able to see it. You know,
yeah. Emily, the dog show will be on Thanksgiving. In fact, my youngest works at a grocery store, and she'll be working on Thanksgiving. And she had already talked to them, and they gave her permission to have the National Dog Show on in the background while they're doing it, because they're like, oh, you got to have it.
That's awesome.
That's actually kind of cool, though. I always like that. You get pulled into it.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we love watching it. We love watching and seeing the breeds, and there's some, there's some unfortunate breeding that has happened over the centuries on some of these poor animals. And then there's other ones that show up and they're just like, that's a good looking dog. I mean, it's just.
Well, and on some of the non-traditional dogs, that's like you were talking about, it's hearing what they look for in them.
Oh, I just saw an unholy alliance of a dog that was new, that you could only get from like one place in the United States. It is they said there was like 5 or 6 generations of this have gone through with this dog so far, which really doesn't mean that much, but it is a Frenchie and a poodle. It's called a floodle. So it's like a hypoallergenic. And I mean, I saw it and it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's a cute dog with the curly hair, and then it has the Frenchie face.
Did you know that?
And they're like, we've been working on this to try. It's like, no,
no.
no.
The whole French bulldog thing, they have a lot of defects for getting them to where they are at this moment.
It's
so
like
they continue to work down that path.
It's like people didn't know what they were doing.
Seems a bit off. You know what I mean? I don't think you need to go that far.
No, yeah, a few of them were like, yeah.
So
Then you end up with places that, well, our old dog that we've got, he came from a place that rescued boutique dogs, and he and his sister were going to be destroyed, and they were in a batch of Westie poodles, but he and his sister were way more Westie than Westie poodle. So yeah, they were unwanted. They had a bunch of dogs like that were, anyway, it was too bad, but yeah.
Oh, Renee's doing the right thing. If you don't have them, get DVDs. Those are, I don't know. I still like that.
Yes.
Ooh.
Physical copies of media. That's where it's at.
And James there with Ben Romack casting. I'd like to have some funk like that. Kind of gets the party started. I was talking to someone about the Parliament, the P-Funk, Parliament Funkadelic, the 21, and the cost difference that has happened from when I bought mine. Yeah, it was like 120. Let's call 120, 150. And it was still like, oh, this is like the celebration whiskey, but you're getting a 21-year-old. It's awesome, and it was very good. I mean,
yes.
I'm going to say that right now. I've always loved Glendronach's Parliaments.
And some of those years of the Glendronach was substantially more than what was on the label.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
like
so,
by 10 years,
I think there was like 10 or 15 one year.
Yeah.
It was really, they had some pretty outstanding stuff in there that you wouldn't think they would. But the price, that was one that I had for like a Thanksgiving holiday whiskey that, other than Midwinter Night's Dram in the past, I wasn't like, what if you're going to have a bunch of people get to, I'm like, you get this. This is a holiday whiskey that is fantastic. You're all going to remember it. And you'd all spend $30 anyways going out for the night, so it's not that bad. But now you can't do that.
I bought the one that I was able to get because I could get it in town, and I saw it when I was out of state, going around places, and it was 180, 190, and I found mine overseas online, and shipped to me was cheaper than buying it in the United States. I mean, it was a 700 mil versus 750, but that's kind of negligible at that point. But it was worth waiting for, and quite a bit cheaper than buying it local. So I haven't tried to replace it because I probably won't, but I would certainly look overseas first.
It's always a weird one when you got to do that. I used to. It is. I don't know. I don't say it's weird, but that's the nice thing about us focusing on American craft whiskey is that I haven't really delved into staying on top of Scotch. I mean, there was a point where you can track what barrels are going from where to where and stuff like that over there because they have a very nice program set up, and you can get almost too down the rabbit hole. And I think I was really starting to flow down that at one point. Excuse me. I don't mean to cough at everybody. So it's I don't know. That was a different one back in the past that I would have been as one of my holiday whiskeys. Not close, kind of close to that vein. Rouge port cask. Or was it sherry cask? They had a sherry bomb the one year that was obviously a toned down version of what Glendronach was, but had some of the same notes because I found that I got a little more baking spice notes out of the 21 than some of the other ones. The other ones I thought had the sherry obviously overtook some of it, I think, on the 15 and the 12 for me, but I felt some of the other notes started to come back to fruition in the 21. So I don't know. All right, sorry, I took us down a weird path. But are you guys on to your third drink of the evening?
Yes. Go ahead, Miss Morgan.
I'm drinking the most expensive bottle of any liquor that I own. It cost me a 2024 Ford Bronco Sport in October. My car salesman bought it for me once all the paperwork was signed. It is the 70th anniversary Jimmy Russell Wild Turkey. It's pretty good. It's an 8-year, 100 proof. Not as solid. That's all there is to it. Out of everything tonight between the three, this is definitely my favorite. I saved it for last because this is dessert out of the three. Real rich in caramels and even a little bit of chocolate note to this as well. It's just got a sweet flavor to it. It's nose is even as sweet, just all of it. Mitch just popped on. He's actually home. I should tell him to come up here and say hi. But this
Yeah,
this is deliciousness. So but even though it literally is the most expensive bottle of whiskey I own, joking but not joking, this is I'm glad it's the most expensive one because this is a very solid bottle. Very, very solid.
Nice.
What about you, Mike? What are you drinking?
So mine is the final dregs of a single cask nation single barrel pick.
Oh
yeah.
I have a tiny bit of that around the corner, and it was slated for this evening.
Yeah.
Bitch.
So it's a 9-year-old wild turkey.
Oh.
Yeah. It is everything in everything in wild turkey turned up, tightened up, thickened sauce. I mean, it's really good.
It's if you could reduce wild turkey like you were cooking and bring it down.
He's alive.
Oh, well,
Like
looky there.
Like a quarter cup down to an ounce.
Yeah.
That thing had some hell of a flavor smash.
Oh, and brought out so much fruit too. That was good. It's like more intense and had. This is
Mitchie. What's up, buddy? You're alive,
little fella.
Also petting my dog.
Yeah, I was gonna say you need to eat something. Fuck, man, that's your stomach's really giving her growl there. Could be the case too. So. Well, she's gonna share. She's gonna share expensive whiskey with you, Mitch.
That's true love right there, y'all. True
I heard you put a ban on her from having some of your whiskey.
Yeah,
though.
it's the least you could do is share that after breaking the Kentucky Spirit.
One bottle. It's one of the old turkey tail bottles of Kentucky Spirit.
I like how he stands by it. He's like, no.
Yeah.
When will the Kentucky Spirit be opened?
I don't know. So I have other Kentucky Spirits that are opened. Like she's drinking one, so it's not that I don't have, that whiskey. It's just one of those things. They're never going to make that bottle anymore. So maybe when I finish that Kentucky Spirit, or I don't know.
There's probably other ones downstairs
Yeah, there
too.
probably is more than one downstairs.
So, wait. I thought we got that in there before, didn't we?
Oh no,
What's
I'm
that?
bringing it to Jake's on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
What?
You have to work though.
I know.
Okay.
When do you get done though? That's the question.
When do I get done?
With work.
8 p.m.
Huh.
And then it's just a brief hop, skip, and 45 minutes home.
Well, maybe you guys can find some place to eat nearby your work.
No.
Okay. Well, or between your work and home. Okay, never mind.
Not at that hour.
There's like a Wendy's.
There was one time we did.
You've done worse. I know you have.
My family did.
I like to McRib. I've done so much worse.
My family did McDonald's on New Year's Eve because the one restaurant we went to had some type of cooking issue, so that was the only other place open. So we went to McDonald's for New Year's Eve.
I could think of worse things.
But you know,
Yeah.
for my family, it was like we didn't go out to that big cool restaurant very often. It's just like shit, we go to McDonald's all the time. But that's before. Hey, that's back when it might have been actually made with the fries with beef tallow, which I'll be honest was a million times better.
So much.
I remember the break because there was a plasticky difference, and it's not okay.
I also remember when the pies were fried, and
Yes.
those were good.
Oh,
my
yes.
gosh.
The hot apple pie would come out like fucking lava.
Yeah, burned my mouth every time because I was still kind of little when I was eating them.
They tried to kill you.
Kind of a
every time.
dumb child, but you know, totally worth it.
No, I remember those.
Yum.
The old hot apple pies were good, and then they had cherry pies for a little bit, but then they went away from it. No, it's too much for people there to handle.
They're too busy working on the ice cream machine.
I think I'd love to know who made those, because is it such bad user error or is it poor design?
I think it's because there's routine maintenance that has to be done on them, and the cleaning procedure is not as straightforward, and so a lot of people will just don't.
Oh,
And then
we're just
it
gonna
gets
keep
worse
making ice cream.
if you don't do it on a regular basis, then they just don't work. But you know, there is better ice cream out there.
Really?
Oh, that's true.
Julia Child stuff.
100% true.
Tallow
miss-
whiskey.
I'd give it
I mean, a tallow wash on your
Well,
cocktail.
I was gonna say that, or like some type of pachuca-ish.
Mm-hmm.
The wash is true. I'd
I
like to put it in the gin basket, but I don't
easy.
think it makes
Oh,
the
it's
gin
not.
basket okay.
Morgan loves Pachuga. I don't know if y'all knew that. So if you ever see her out, Pachuga shots. That's what she wants.
Hey, I like the one.
You tolerated the one.
One.
We had that pizza pachuga we had was so like Italian
Yeah.
sauce. It was insane. I wouldn't even pegged it as pizza. I would have pegged it as like intense marinara meatball lasagna almost, from what that was. It was very
Yeah.
interesting.
With funky cheese.
With funky cheese.
And it's really good in Bloody Marys.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I was gonna see now this is like yesterday. It's starting to wear on me that I'm not able to drink. Didn't bother me until now. Now I want to have one.
I show up and Pat's like, "Oh God, why can't I drink?" I see how it is.
You make people want to drink.
Yeah, my faith and personality both do that.
Well, when people suggest you should be a distributor when you show up at bars.
Yeah.
Are you a distributor? No.
In
Yeah.
a way.
Just trying to help you.
Like, "Oh, who do you rep?" And I was like, "Nobody. I'm just a dude."
I'm just going to tell you these things are the bomb. You should have these on the shelf.
No, I only brought things they couldn't get.
That is nice. Oh, good to see you, Donald. Nice to see you. Oh, that's right. I think we had the totem, didn't we, Mike?
We might have
Real
gotten
spirits.
to try it.
I think
Maybe.
we got to try it.
I got to try it at one of the whiskey fests in Austin. One of the Bastard Falls. That's what it is called.
I know it
It
has
was really good.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Oh, well,
All right. I've made my wild turkey blend.
I'm gonna want to hear about that. Then I gotta.
It's not a big blend because there's not much of one of them, and I'm not going to sacrifice that much of this single barrel.
He's so stingy with himself.
It's not like I don't have other choices.
Oh, excuse me.
We were working on the Omaha.
No.
We were working on the Omaha.
Yum.
Yeah.
Pat, are you going to make a electrolyte cocktail?
Yeah. I was just reading Donald's. If I smelled like a Cornish blue cheese, I'd be.
I like it.
At least you know you're getting like a unique scent going on. Not being overlapped.
All right.
Mm.
Ooh, this smells good.
Here,
Yeah.
I'll give my statement about this. It tastes like Kool-Aid, but it has only 1 gram of sugar in it. So it has to have something else in it to cover that gap. But otherwise it looks like it's very healthy, but I don't think anything that tastes like Kool-Aid but has no sugar can also cover that ground. Other than
smells-
that, it's very good.
See, this smells, and I bet it tastes just like a higher proof Forgiven
Ooh.
Oh.
with more flavor to it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't break out any of the special editions.
No, this is what I could find and just grabbed first.
Yeah, she was a little worried about grabbing bottles at random after being told no.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you found one bottle that's sealed on my shelf that you can't have. Oh no.
Hey, well, it's always going to be that one bottle because I mean, if you can't have it, you want it. That's the one you want. You know, don't touch this.
Yeah.
Well, how will you get through, babe? You might have to drink the rest of them.
No, I always ask you before I open something.
That's Thursday.
No, I'm gonna to Emily. I believe it is the purified sativa leaf extract.
It's weird. It's a very funky blend.
Dang it.
There's nothing else in there that would.
Yeah, that's a no for my dog.
There's a note.
Oh, that sounds outstanding, Donald.
That honestly does.
I was gonna say it's hard to find stuff that'll usually around here like 5-10 is easy, but once you start hitting that 15 or more, it's much more difficult. But that sounds awesome.
Mm.
Turn you into a charcuterie board.
All
But
right.
Donald, what Irish whiskey would be served with that?
Super funky cheddar. Probably red spot.
I don't know. See, that's an interesting one because I want a little more boldness with it.
Crown peach. Or blackberry.
I was gonna go apple personally.
I mean, if you can get your hands on the salted caramel.
Yeah, well, see, that's the one weird thing about Crown is like it all I do like their flavored things better than I like the vodka expression line of flavored things.
Good call.
Yeah,
I killed my
yeah,
like
that was
their Gaelic
awesome.
Prince's Wood. Oh God. Oh, that was such a good whiskey.
That was yes, that was up there very, very highly, man. Like even in like a lifetime list that it made a mark.
I think it was I think it was, for me, it was better than the Redbreast 27.
I could kind of see that. I didn't have the 27.
It was definitely
I had
cheaper than
22.
Redbreast 27. I just bought at a Irish place here that they were selling 1 ounce pours, so you could get a 1 ounce sample bottle of it. So it was way more reasonable to do that than to buy a bottle of the 27. But
see, agreement with that, because I remember having that one. I'm like, Redbreast 27 or 22 didn't. I mean, it was great, but didn't like leave a mark where I was like, that name sticks with me. Only from like a half sample.
Wasn't there and you guys might have had it at the first Bastards Ball, the that red breast, what was it, a 23, an oddball number one that
It's like 32. The
There's
dream.
32.
there it is, yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty friggin' magnificent. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
It's better than the 27.
Yes, it
That's
was
it.
the 32
dream
drink
cask.
cask. What else was there that day? I forget the other one. What was it, Mitch? It was
like
something else.
Aged Ardbeg.
Oh, yeah, there was some I couldn't remember what it was. Some other just ridiculous whiskey that was there. I think you're right.
It's like a 40 or 50-year-old Ardbeg, I want to say.
Yeah,
Something
Wow.
like that.
it was something nuts, and it was like crazy.
That's when the Colts closed.
Thanks, Brad.
Right? Yeah.
So yeah, those are not things you expect to ever try per se in your lifetime.
I didn't even know they existed when I tried.
Not the Ardbeg one, no. The other one I heard clamoring about, but didn't expect to happen. Yeah, that was more in the caring about where stuff was in Europe time. I remember that was about the time Turfmore came out, because I wanted one of those too, though it was not on the same scale as all that, but I wanted one because of the orange bottle as well.
All right.
But I don't know. I think I'm ready to go upstairs and start taking care of some stuff I have to for this upcoming Thanksgiving. Sorry, everybody.
Yep.
I don't want to be Debbie Downer here, but I got some work to do.
There's holiday things. It's a short week.
It's a short week. Well, I'll be there, but I think I'm going to suck up a bunch of hours and then take some time off in December. I can take time off whenever I want now, basically.
Nice.
Good.
Which we'll discuss this after the show. I have some questions about the future. Wait. Oh, see you Canadians and your special days.
Your civic holidays.
What is Boxing Day? No, I'm just. I'm more cultured than that. We don't have to go down that path. So, till next week. I was gonna go with remember that turkeys hit the pavement like wet bags of concrete. Well, I'm sorry, I watched it earlier, and I don't care how many times I see it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's classic.
And it's the after part too, where he's like, I think they started to organize. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope everyone out there has a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you're driving someplace, please be safe and enjoy it. And until next time we see you, remember, it's not the size of the den, it's the love of whiskey or any spirit. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Yours.
Cheers.